All right, hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm AstroHunnay, and this is my new segment, Chat With Me. And today I'm chatting with my dearest friend and one of my favorite human beings in the world, Miss Jazz Marie Latour, aka Elder Jazz on Instagram. What's up?
What's going on? I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. We're trying out something new today. I have two microphones instead of one, and we're on camera.
And I get to be the first.
Yes.
And it makes sense because I was also like your first best friend.
Yeah, honestly, she is my oldest relationship ever. I started loving her when I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
So
I found her crying on a carpet, and I knew she was mine.
She's always felt like home. So she's my standard of friendship. If you don't make me feel like she does, I question it. And usually those friends don't last. So sorry.
My life too, actually. So it makes sense.
Okay, so on those topics, do you want to talk about friendship?
Sure. We can definitely talk about friendship. I was talking to my therapist about friendship today.
Oh, well,
so
synchronicities. All right.
We can definitely have that conversation. I was talking to my therapist today about how over the last few years of my healing journey, I've been really working on not owning other people's emotions, not feeling responsible for them. But with newer friendships and people I don't know really well, I still really struggle with that.
Yeah, that's kind of hard.
Yeah, she told me a really ugly truth, and she said, you don't want other people to be sad because of you. And because of that, what I realized was, oh, fuck, that means that I will not say my true emotions with newer friends because I don't want them to have negative emotions around me or towards me. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like a people-pleasing kind of thing.
Yeah, which...
your new love me, please.
Right, which I know people-pleasing ultimately is manipulation. It is. High-key.
High-key, it is.
I want you to like me enough. I'm going to do whatever I have to do so that you like me.
Yeah.
And that's really not...
the true me.
Right, that's yeah, so...
Whatever.
Ooh. Therapy gets deep, guys. And as much as you think you're working on some stuff,
surprise!
There's another rock to look under, another carpet that you brush stuff under. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. Yep. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of the opposite. Depending on who it is, if I'm unsure about you, I'll kind of be a little snarky. Kind of if you can't take my heat, then why? Right. I'm usually pretty snarky, and I accidentally hurt people's feelings all the time. All the time. And I am trying my hardest these days to not intentionally just bing. I'll hear something in my head and I'll say it out loud, and then I look at someone, they're so sad. And it was I just picked up on some insecurity that was in their heart or thought, and I just spoke on it. Even unintentionally, and I will just make a joke that comes out of nowhere, and then the whole vibe changes, and I'm like,
I've definitely done this. I've definitely done this. Whoops. And I feel it's usually with people that I don't know well, that you can see the pain in their eyes when you say a joke that was really way too personal.
Okay, but low-key, I still do it with people I really love, and that pains me more because I'm trying even harder in these relationships. And I don't want the excuse of I'm just built like that, because I'm trying really hard to be more intentional about everything.
That's the thing though too, is we don't always just that whole I don't know, I get really weird about when people say that's just who I am, because we can change if it's not giving us the response that we want, because ultimately it's that's rooted in pride and ego.
Facts.
Because the truth is, we want love, but we want genuine love.
Facts.
We want acceptance.
Yes.
We want the people I care about what the people around me think of me. I want them to think that I'm kind and considerate and all of those, then I'm trustworthy. I don't want them to just think any old thing about me and expect the relationship to keep going,
Yeah.
That's toxic to me. I don't know, but I mean,
I've been perceived differently, where I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea because their faces tell me.
Yeah.
So it's been really hard for me to kind of just accept that there are people who do fuck with me like that. Even from the get, they just love me.
Right.
Because the people who were supposed to quote unquote love me, showed some signs And I interpret it as, oh, I was not worthy of love. Like, how could anyone love me or even know the true meaning? Like, I'm getting real emotional. It's still a thing.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
So sometimes I catch myself, especially in like romantic relationships, where because I don't have strict boundaries with people I love, I'm always trying to overgive to compensate. I end up like love bombing them if I think it's not gonna work. So like no one can claim that I don't try.
Which if you're on here, we know love bombing is not like
it's not
proper.
Good, and it's really bad. That's manipulation.
Yeah.
And I realized I'm really good at it because usually I'm dating avoidant people, and so my love bombing is like my anxious response, right? But it looks like I'm trying when really I'm actually causing you to be pushed away from me.
Damn.
Because in the end, I don't actually feel safe enough to be loved.
Yeah.
Like you think, like I pushed you to your max to tell me like I needed a break, and I still didn't listen. So I'm trying to do better.
I feel like I've definitely love bombed people, and while also being love bombed at the same time.
Yeah.
And that is just like a crash and burn situation. I think that's like how codependency kind of, starts.
It is codependent.
Yeah.
I don't even think it starts. Like, if you're in these kind of situations, codependency exists.
Yeah.
We're working on interdependence, not hyper-independence.
Right. That's what, like, with the relationship I'm in now, I've been with my partner for, it'll be 6 years this year.
Wow, already?
I know. It feels like forever. COVID years are different than regular
like,
years, though.
Was it even 3 years or 5? Like,
right, exactly.
1, 2 months?
Exactly.
Time's a warp.
I still think 2021 was like yesterday.
Same. And then they're like, we haven't seen you since 2020. I'm like, wasn't that last week?
Yeah.
Oh, that was 3 years ago!
And so we got into there's a time warp effect happening.
For
but
sure.
It's been, it'll be 6 years in September.
Wow.
And
September, my favorite month.
we started off as friends. And so all of that, like, testing the waters and, like, learning how to be a friend to him and all of those things happened before I even knew that he liked me. So he got my full authentic self.
I love that.
He got, like, all of the weird parts about me, like, because
The
when you
best
like
parts about
somebody
you.
and you like, whether you try to or not, you just act different.
Yeah, you're like, love me.
Right. Or like, you just try to act extra cute or like whatever.
Or I'm extra spicy because I love to fight, flirt, but some
Right.
people don't like that.
And then, so I didn't know any of those things, so I got to be just exactly who I am.
I love
And yeah, I think that like really helped so that there was no love bombing. It just kind of
That's my problem.
worked.
I don't know how to be friends with people because I'm very passionate and I'm like, there's fire. Let's set this stage on fire too. Like, let's all become fire and go to make a volcano. So obviously I have a lot of impatience.
That's that Aries moon.
It really is. It's my
on.
Leo Venus. It's my sidereal Venus Sun. Venus. Well, my Venus and sidereal Sun are Leo, so hodgepodge.
Yeah.
Mercury retrograde's coming. Whatever. You understood me.
I don't really have any kind of like fire signs in those. I have like my Venus is Pisces.
My 7th house is my Aries moon.
Oh wow, yeah.
And my Lilith. So
I don't remember what my Lilith is, but
7th house is where things come to play. Your descendant.
yeah.
So I'm very emotional and volatile too, but I also love a good time. And Leo's in my 7th house, and so my Venus is really tied to friendships, and I cherish friendships more than romantic partnerships,
Right.
like for
But
sure.
that also I think speaks to like you, and especially in a romantic relationship, like it can't just be like
for sure. I need to feel like
extra,
we're
just
friends.
just routine. Like I'm just here out of obligation. Like it needs to feel
like if it's just physical, I will end it because I need a mental stimulation. I need to know I can count on you emotionally on some respect. Not expecting a sole person to be my only, because I'm learning to heal within a community and to just talk to myself too. Like, why would I put all my eggs in one basket? That's unfair to the other.
Right.
First of all, and unfair to myself.
That's the other thing too, is like, this is also the first person I've been with that allows me to like have a life and doesn't feel like they have a bunch of say in it and what I can do,
because they literally
can't do,
exist
what time to be
however the
home.
hell they want to as well.
Right.
That is so true.
That
they leave you alone a
truly,
lot, and
which
it's
is
beautiful.
nice. Yeah,
because I've known her my whole life.
We're both really.
She did not have these partners like that.
No,
and I've met many of them.
Well, I have this innate thing of like need to be needed, you know. And
I low-key think we all do.
Right, I think so too.
Like that's our.
Well, no, some people run in fear of like.
But also because it's
you're
like
depending
a
on
lack.
you too much. Yeah.
You know, like the imbalance in it.
Well, then they might end up becoming the person that needs to be the needy.
It's complex. Yeah. Like, hey, that's my role.
Right. Yeah.
F you.
And I feel like this is the complete opposite of that in a lot of ways because we're both really independent, and I get to just, you know, go wherever I want to go, and it's not a question. There's like the trust part.
I love that,
like,
the trust.
You know, like that is new. My last ex, we had location.
And I never met them.
Yeah.
See?
Right.
I only meet the real important ones.
Hey, that's true. So I think with like friendships, I want to talk a little bit about like our friendship, just so that everybody knows and can kind of put context to it. Like we met in kindergarten.
Yeah.
And went to the same school all through elementary school,
middle school,
all through middle,
and basically majority of high school.
Yeah,
because you left like beginning of junior year.
Yeah.
So I had you for a good most of my public school life.
Yeah.
Except for the last 2 years.
Exactly. And this is like the longest, healthiest relationship I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. Not to say like we didn't have our ups and downs.
Yeah.
But I have never felt like any.
I feel like she called me a bitch in the 5th grade. I think that's
I feel like it was 4th grade, and she brought it up, and I was like, I don't even understand. And then she explained it to me, and I was like, oh, I definitely would have called you a bitch.
But like conflict, right? Like that's a beautiful thing to have.
But
in a friendship.
I told her how I felt,
right?
And then we're still friends. And then I made a mistake of telling a secret to someone, and then she expressed it to me, and we talked about it because we didn't be sneaky and snide and not talk about it, and look at us now.
All emotionally intelligent is our
right.
Like, elementary years. I know I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
You want to know why I called her a bitch in 4th grade?
Okay.
Because she had this group of friends. There were 4 of them, and every single day I'd watch them split into 2s and 3s and 1s, and I'm like, oh my god, so annoying. And then she'd hang out with me whenever she was the solo dolo, and I'm like, I'm being used, and you know I don't like that because I told you about this situation last year. Fuck you, you're a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it stuck with her because I totally forgot. I say a bunch of things, and people like, remember when you said that? And I'm like, I really don't.
That was pivotal for me, truly. Like your response, also that friend group that I was in, and like not even that I absolutely.
I liked them all individually.
Right, I loved all of them individually. Together, it was super toxic. And then I also learned, like, Jazzy, you can't just go to people when you feel like when you feel left out, you don't get to use people. Like, actually pour into the relationships that you have, you know.
And we learned that lesson in 4th grade, y'all.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Right?
That's impressive.
I was having these deep thoughts in elementary. I was like, I am being used as a friend, as a 3rd grader.
Hey.
And I knew someone was like, Christy, you're my best friend in 1st grade. And I was like, but you're not my best friend. I was very aware. Very aware. Too much aware. I think that's my problem. I'm too much aware, and I don't like to let life happen.
I don't think that's a problem. I think, though, that we need to, like...
I overthink it. That's what becomes the problem.
We think a lot and don't feel a lot. I remember, I had a mentor who, probably 11 years ago, I was talking to her about like emotions and like feelings because I really didn't know how to express my feelings. And she had me go into the dictionary and write down definitions and to call her every day and to express a feeling that I was having. And that really helped me to like internalize. And I'm like 19, 20 years old doing this, you know, and it really helped me to like internalize the different types of emotions I was having, that it's okay to have multiple emotions. It's okay to admit my emotions to another person and feel safe to do that. And like, you know, because like I came from a really beautiful family, but we didn't talk about feelings, especially not the bad ones necessarily. You know?
My mom's a Gemini.
So yeah,
Toxic,
okay.
I can't even talk. Toxic positivity, household name.
Right,
Love her. We've come
right.
so far.
Which I loved her too.
She's gonna hate
know each
seeing
other's
this.
parents, and absolutely love. I love your parents.
Oh, I love your mom and your dad are the best. Your
Yeah,
mom loves me though.
yours
Not
are
gonna
too.
lie, I'm her favorite.
Like I feel like I can understand that, and I think it's a generational thing too.
Yeah,
like
it really is.
I'm really excited for like the generation that we are, who like grew up not expressing our feelings, and so like their children are gonna learn more about that. You know, like yeah, hopefully, like
I'm a teacher, and I'm be like, why am I teaching y'all how to regulate your emotions?
That's like the most important thing, though.
Is it? That's a whole other tangent. Anyways, back to friendships.
Important. It's so important because, like, look at what we just talked about in the 4th grade. Like, that is going to be more important to me than, you know, what type of minerals I can name from science
capitals.
Class, you know, or
I don't remember.
Like, that's going to serve me way better in my life.
Been a teacher my whole life, y'all.
Exactly. So
life lessons.
I think that's really I think that's really important, and
Thank
that
you.
like emotional like conflict and stuff is really
healthy emotional conflict.
Right, because that's why it came up with my therapist. Is because I feel like I was experiencing really unhealthy, like one-sided conflict, that I'm just like emotionally tapped out of it, and I'm like, I don't want to participate in this. And like, what do you do? How do you like bow out gracefully without, you know, because I'm not the type of person who I don't like to go off on people. It feels shitty later.
Yeah.
It does. And I am the one who has to go home and think about, like, you know, was I righteous? Was I not? Whatever. And so I don't want to do that. I'd rather, like, that's also a problem though, avoidance and confrontation. So how do I just kind of like, take my exit?
I mean, I recently dealt with 2 interesting conflicts that were kind of parallel to each other. It was just interesting because they happened simultaneously. And that's it. And I've learned how to figure it out by myself. Just kidding. With the grace of spirit and the universe, or whatever you want to call it. You'll just have to ask me yourself or don't. Thank you. That's all we're allowed to be talking about because you can't get all the
It's
answers.
a rant. We can't talk forever.
That's the rules.
But we could. We
honestly
literally have spent hours.
We said goodbye, and then 3 hours later, we're still talking. So.
And this is a regular occurrence. So.
Yeah. Anyways, that's all for this segment. I guess our topic of choice was friendships and relationships and emotions, and how, you know, complex and simple and intricate and beautiful it all is. Thank you.
Be your real self. Mess up trying to be your real self too. That's okay.
Only in the mistakes will you learn growth.
Yeah, you're probably gonna make a joke and feel like an asshole, but then you can like learn.
You know,
you're probably going to express your feelings and then realize.
But also, if someone hurts your feelings, tell them, because people are not mind readers, and it's easier when you're explicit, because then everyone knows what needs to happen. All right, so that's all for now. Ta-ta.
Yay.
I'm AstroHunnay.
I'm Elder Jazz. See you later.
And thanks for chatting with me. Podcast available on all major platforms. Listen for more intuitive rants.